Singapore keeps getting richer. Japan keeps getting more iconic. South Korea keeps going viral. And Malaysia? Malaysia keeps getting overlooked. But here is what nobody tells you. There are 5 things Malaysia does better than all 3 of those countries combined. Not slightly better. Genuinely, undeniably better. And by the time this video ends, you are going to see this country through completely different eyes. Stay with us. This is not a hate video. We are not here to tear down Singapore, disrespect Japan, or dismiss South Korea. Those are great countries and we mean that. But greatness comes in different forms. And Malaysia has a specific kind of greatness that gets buried under the noise of GDP rankings and global brand power. Today we are pulling it out into the open. 5 real categories. Real comparisons. Real data. And by point 4, even Malaysians are going to feel something they did not expect. Let us get into it. Number 1. Genuine multiculturalism. Picture this. It is Sunday morning. At one table a Malay family is having nasi lemak. Right next to them a Chinese grandfather is reading a newspaper over dim sum. Beside him an Indian couple shares a roti canai and pulls chai. 3 tables. 3 cultures. 1 capitium. Nobody planned it. Nobody organized it. It just is. That is Malaysia. Malaysia is home to over 130 distinct ethnic groups. Malays, Chinese, Indians, the Iban of Sarawak, the Kadazan-Dusun of Sabah, the Orang Asli of the peninsula, and dozens more. Together they celebrate Hari Raya, Chinese New Year, Deepavali, Kamatan, and Gawai. And in Malaysia these are not events that belong to just one group. They belong to everyone. Now here is where the comparison gets interesting. Japan is approximately 98% ethnically Japanese. A beautiful, deeply rich culture but homogeneous by nature. South Korea tells a similar story, with foreign-born residents making up less than 4% of the population, and visible minorities still navigating significant social friction. Singapore is multiracial, and we will give them that. But here is the key difference. Singapore's diversity is managed. Racial quotas in public housing. Fixed racial categories printed on every national identity card. It is a system. It functions. But it is built, maintained, and controlled by policy. Malaysia's multiculturalism was not designed. It grew. From centuries of trade winds, migration, and people choosing to build a life together on the same land. The mixing happened at the market, at the dinner table, in the schoolyard. It produced something no government document can replicate. A society where switching between Malay, Mandarin, Tamil, and English in a single conversation is completely normal. Where you attend your neighbor's wedding and eat food you grew up loving even though it came from a culture that is not yours. Tourism Malaysia has said it for decades. Truly Asia. That is not a marketing line. It is a lived reality. And none of our 3 competitors can say the same. We are only at number 1 and already this is hitting different. Wait until you hear what we have to say about number 3. That one genuinely shocked us when we looked at the data. But first, number 2. Number 2. Affordability and value for money. Let us talk about money. Real numbers.
No sugar kuating.
The average monthly cost of living in Malaysia sits between $650 and $820. In Singapore, maintaining that exact same standard of living costs between $3,100 every single month. That means you need to earn almost 3 times more in Singapore just to live the way you already live in Kuala Lumpur. Cost of living in Singapore is over 124% higher than in KL excluding rent. When you factor rent in, the gap becomes even wider. Japan is not far behind. Tokyo and Osaka have seen consistent price increases across rent, food, and daily transport. Seoul is ranked among Asia's priciest cities for housing and dining. Meanwhile in Malaysia a full plate of nasi lemak with all the sides costs around 5 ringgit. A complete hawker meal at a. Grew up loving even though it came from a culture that is not yours. Tourism Malaysia has said it for decades. Truly Asia. That is not a marketing line. It is a lived reality. Kelantan and Terengganu. Inside it you will find over 14,000 plant species, 200 species of mammals, 350 species of birds, Malayan tigers, Asian elephants, sun bears, clouded leopards, and rivers flowing through valleys that have remained untouched for millions of years. And that is just peninsular Malaysia. Cross to Borneo, shared between Sabah and Sarawak, and you enter one of the most biodiverse regions on Earth. Mount Kinabalu rises 4,095 meters and hosts species of plant life found absolutely nowhere else. The caves of Mulu are among the largest cave systems in the world. Now let us be fair. Singapore is a masterpiece of urban design. But it covers just 733 square kilometers and is entirely urban. There is no jungle. Japan offers mountains, bamboo forests, cherry blossoms, genuinely beautiful. South Korea has Jeju Island and the Seoraksan Peaks, worth visiting for certain. But neither country has anything approaching the age, the scale, the biodiversity, or the untouched wildness of what Malaysia holds. This is not a backup attraction. This is a natural inheritance that most of the world does not even know exists. And it belongs to Malaysia. 3 down. 2 to go. And we promised you that number 4 would surprise you. Here it is. Number 4. Warm hospitality and the Mamak way of life. Imagine it is 2 in the morning. You are tired, a little hungry, and you just want somewhere to sit. In Tokyo, most places are closed or closing. In Seoul, you might find a convenience store. In Singapore, your options are limited and a cup of coffee will cost you accordingly. In Malaysia, you walk to the Mamak. The Mamak stall is one of the most unique social institutions in the world. Open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Plastic chairs. Fluorescent lighting. A tall glass of teh tarik pulled to a perfect froth. At the tables around you are students finishing assignments at midnight, uncles watching a live football match, a family out late after visiting relatives, a group of friends who just came from a concert.
No reservation.
No dress code. No minimum spend. No social filter at the door. The Mamak does not care who you are. It just feeds you. This kind of open, unconditional social space does not exist at this scale anywhere else in the region. Japan has the izakaya, warm, community-driven, wonderful. But it comes with layers of social etiquette that can feel like invisible rules. South Korea has genuine warmth too, but also a culture shaped by intense hierarchy, age-based formality, and social pressure around achievement and best food cities in the world. Not in Southeast Asia. Not in Asia. In the world. Georgetown has been called a living open-air food museum, and that still undersells it. The char kway teow at a specific stall run by a specific uncle who has been doing it for 40 years is not replicable anywhere else on earth. Nasi kandar. Rendang that takes hours to build its depth. Roti canai stretched and folded at 6 in the morning while you watch. Bok cut teh on a slow Sunday that tastes like someone's grandmother invented it just for you. Sendal under a tree when the heat is heavy and the afternoon has stopped moving. Japan's food is precise, disciplined, and respected globally, and rightly so. South Korea's food is bold and has captured the world's attention. Singapore's hawker culture is so significant it earned UNESCO recognition. But Malaysia's food culture is arguably the most diverse single food culture in all of Asia. It carries the fingerprints of every civilization that ever passed through this land. Every migration. Every trade route. Every person who arrived from somewhere else and decided to stay. All of it is in the food. And it is served without exception at a table where everyone is welcome. That is not just cuisine. That is a story. And it is ours. Malaysia will not top every ranking. Singapore's infrastructure leads. Japan's public systems are immaculate. South Korea's global cultural reach is extraordinary. But this video was never about those categories. It was about the 5 things that make Malaysia genuinely, authentically irreplaceable. Organic multiculturalism that no policy can manufacture. Value for money that lets you live well without compromise. Ancient wilderness that predates civilization itself. A warmth and hospitality that meets you exactly where you are. And a food culture that carries an entire nation's history in every bite. These are not participation trophies. These are areas where Malaysia sets the standard. Not because we are the loudest. Not because the algorithm is in our favor. But because this is simply honestly who we are. This is Malaysia. And it is time the world knew it. If this video moved something in you, share it. Send it to someone who has never been here. Send it to someone who left and needs a reminder of what they are carrying with them. Drop your answer in the comments right now. What is the one thing about Malaysia you would never trade for anything in the world? If you are new here, subscribe. We are just getting started.